government will pay you to learn how to do Maedeup because the government is worried it's becoming a lost art, and they're very concerned about it. So all the girls that were taking the class with me were getting reimbursed for it because the government was like, and the government also sponsors the shop. Oh, they want to keep that open too.
That's wonderful,
so
isn't
that wonderful?
Yeah. And I can see in watching you work with it, it says in your book that it's a good exercise for the mind and for your dexterity.
Yes, it's good because your fingers are, you know, pulling and manipulating this cording, and also your mind, you've got to learn, some of these may have 30 or 40 steps to it, so you have to remember how to do all that. So it is a good exercise for your brain.
Keeps you young in spirit too, as well. Well, I appreciate you showing us this, and just to see these beautiful pieces of jewelry is just wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Becky, thank you so much for coming, and thank you for sending me the book on making this knotted jewelry. The first part on how you ended up learning how to do Maedeup, which is a type of jewelry making, was because you and your husband spent a couple of years in Korea. Why?
Yes, my husband's company was looking for somebody that wanted to go to Korea. They needed somebody there, and honestly woke up one day and said, let's go. He was a little shocked, but we went, and on our house hunting trip in the Incheon airport gift shop, I saw these knots that they were using for, you know, cell phone charms and for keychains, and I went, that's what I want to learn how to make. I want to learn how to make that. So when we moved over there, I went home and went on the internet and did some research, found out Korean knotting is called Maedeup. And so when I came back over, then they had a relocation agency that helped us get settled and with needs and things. And so I said, I want to learn how to do Maedeup, and the girls found me a place, and the owner was first a little hesitant because being American, and then she thought we weren't very smart.
Oh.
So
she didn't know you'd been crafting your whole life,
she didn't.
Did she?
And we proved her wrong that I did learn and succeeded, and they were very proud of me. And so I learned how to do it and then came over here and just I haven't stopped doing Maedeup since we've been back.
And how do Americans that you teach, how do they take to it?
They love it. I teach all over. It's so wonderful to see the look on their face when they make something or when they master a knot. They just kind of.
Well, speaking of how beautiful it is, this book that you've written is full of all kinds of beautiful pieces of jewelry, and I enjoyed it because I learned to say a few Korean words like Maedeup, and I understand that there are 38 basic knots in the.
There are 38 basic knots that are thousands of years old, and now. There are people over in Korea and China too that are doing this, that they create their own knots and things, but there's 38 basic knots that are.
And did you learn, how many lessons did you take? How long was the class?
I went for, the classes were about 3 to 6 months each, level 1, 2, 3. I got through all 3. And then I continued with my teacher, private lessons outside of the Maedeup shop. So she would come to my apartment once a week for 4 hours, but every Saturday from 12 to 5, I went into Seoul and took Maedeup classes.
And were you the only American in your class?
Only American. And a lot of times we had to sit on the floor for those 5 hours because a lot of their tables are on the floor. So yeah,
that was a challenge.
Quite an experience.
And you said you even found that by videotaping behind the instructor's back, you could take it home then and sort of pause if you needed to see how something was done.
I would remember it that day, and then like the next day, Sunday even, I'd go, I forgot how to do that knot. So finally, I think my husband said, why don't you bring the player and you can just videotape it and.
Well, I think that's true of anything. Let's take an example. This show some of these. This is called Dorae Maedeup. So that's one type.
Right. That's what we're going to demo today.
So it's the type of knot that causes it to be named certain things.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And I understand in Korea all of these types of knots send a special meaning to loved ones or to people they care about?
You know, Korea is known as the land of invasion, and so they had a lot of wars over there. And they would send people, the mothers would make these Maedeups and send them to with their husbands or their sons into war as good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Special meaning.
Right.
Well, what I think I like most are the bright colors. Like this is turquoise,
Right.
And we've seen pink and sort of a coral
All
color.
different colors.
And where do you find the type of cord that you use?
The cording, now there's, I like using just a cotton cording that you can find on the internet, and I have Korean cording is what I use, and there's a place that does sell that. But some people do it with the rat tail cording, which is very slippery, and I don't recommend that for Maedeup because it'll come out. It comes loose. It just doesn't hold it. So stay with cotton.
It's kind of like macrame. There were some cords that were a lot easier to work with than others, I remember.
Right.
Black. This is very elegant with the black and the silver.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And then another one example with, and the little charms or gems and things.
So you can make a charm bracelet.
Oh, a charm
even.
bracelet.
See that? That's what the Dorae Maedeup, and then I added some St. Joe Maedeup. But yeah, you can make even a charm bracelet.
You can do a class just on speaking Korean.
Well, I don't know. I'm not that good.
Not that good. No. And then a couple of other,
Right.
and I noticed too, you can make them as long as you want, or chokers,
it's
or whatever.
It's totally up to you. You don't have to. You don't have to have knots through the whole thing. This is Dorae Maedeup here, and this is a Karachi silver here, and more Dorae Maedeup. So Dorae Maedeup is, if you see here, it's used to anchor. It's called the anchor knot. It anchors the other knots to keep the other knots from coming out. So it's a really good knot to start with.
And it kind of looks like an X, doesn't it?
Right. It looks like an X. And another name for it is a double connection knot.
Double connection. Okay, let's see how to do this. Maybe we'll move. Now, this is the one you said we're going to do.
Yeah, we're going to make that bracelet.
And I'm sure, like in your classes, there was level 1, 2, and 3, and probably most of us should start with level 1 and kind of get the feel for it.
I don't want, Maedeup, it takes patience and perseverance, and I don't want to intimidate you by, starting you out on these really elaborate knots. Yeah, you can do beautiful jewelry with just the Dorae Maedeup. Like this is just this necklace. These two things here is just the Dorae Maedeup.
That's all.
And a Karachi to end it.
I can see the X.
But yeah, so you see, it's just beautiful in itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we start with 2 strands.
With 2 strands, they're 2 feet. You only need 2 feet. And I've got peach and a light orange here. And I already did one Dorae Maedeup on this side to anchor it.
You can see that X right there.
See that?
I see it.
All right. So we're going to do one over here. I'm going to loop this around the other. And then I'm going to take the same end and put it through the center of that loop.
The same end.
The same end. And then at the bottom here, you see, there's a little loop at the base. I'm going to pull that out. And you'll see the loop on top goes away. And it creates a new loop.
Do you ever wish you had an extra hand maybe to hold things?
And then the orange, the other knot, I'm going to loop that right to the left.
Okay.
And take the same orange and put it through both.
It's going through both.
Right. You're going to go through both. And then pull, it doesn't matter which color you pull.
Oh, it doesn't.
Or which one you pull first. No.
And I guess being consistent too in how tight you pull the knots affects the finished look.
See, and so it looks like that.
Okay, do one more real quick.
All right. I'm going to loop it around. Then that same
color.
I'm going to go through. And then I'm going to pull at the base.
Yeah.
We're going to make that loop go away, and we make a new loop. And then the pink, I'm going to loop it right to the left of the base of that loop. And then you're going to take that same pink end, you're going to put it through both.
It's sort of amazing how it works. Do you go, voila, it actually worked
And see, I made these kind of close together, but you can push them in and move them a little bit. See, so if I want to move it closer.
Separate them or move them closer.
Yeah, I can move it closer like that.
Well, fortunately for those of us who need to have this all reinforced, I couldn't have done this again. Like you were saying, when you'd get home from class, it was hard to remember.
Yeah.
But the book really has very good step outs so that you can see how to do it.
Lots of pictures.
Right. Well, it's interesting. I know you had a wonderful experience, and it's great that you brought all that information back to teach other people.
I've enjoyed it so much.
Thank you very much, Becky.
Kamsahamnida. Thank you in Korean.
Oh, you're welcome.